The court reserves the order on Manish Sisodia, even as arguments were being made by Manish Sisodia's counsel, claiming that Sisodia is innocent. He, of course, can't be forced to admit to a crime which he hasn't done. Several points raised by Manish Sisodia's counsel. I'm going to cut across to Nalini for more on that. Nalini, a quick word. The court reserves the order on Manish Sisodia. What does this mean?
Well, it means that the arguments have completed, Nabila. Both the CBI and Manish Sisodia's defense team have completed their arguments, and the judge has retired into his chamber to now deliberate upon these arguments. And maybe in an hour or so from now, we can expect for the order to be pronounced. It is crucial that the order be pronounced today itself, because yesterday Manish Sisodia was placed under arrest by the CBI. He had to be produced before the court within 24 hours, which the CBI has done. And now the special CBI court at Rouse Avenue will decide whether or not CBI will get that 5 days of custody of Manish Sisodia as they have been asking for. The judge right now has retired into his chamber. It will take him some time to draft the order and to deliberate upon the arguments that have been made. But one thing before retiring into the chamber, one thing that the judge had made clear is that he'll be looking into only the aspect of whether or not any remand should be granted in this case, which means, is there a requirement for Manish Sisodia to be under CBI custody so that he can face questioning in this case. So the CBI's case and what arguments they've put forth before the court are going to be extremely crucial, because if the court finds that this Manish Sisodia has in fact been cooperating with the CBI, has been forthcoming with all of the disclosures that he's made, then there will be no reason to keep him in custody and to allow custodial interrogation. But if any of the arguments that the CBI has put forth has held any water with the CBI court, then they are going to allow at least few days of custody to the CBI so that they can dig a little bit further and they can get to the bottom of exactly how much Manish Sisodia was involved in the drafting and the implementation of the excise policy. Now the CBI, of course, is alleging that his involvement was very crucial. He was one of the main men behind the liquor policy because he was the head of the department at that time. But as to whether or not the court has accepted and agreed to that is something that we'll know only in a few minutes from now once the order is pronounced. The order no doubt will be pronounced today itself, Nabila. They will have to give the order today as to whether or not he is going to be released on bail or whether he is going to be sent to police custody or judicial custody. Right. But the CBI, of course, hoping that those 5 days of police custody will be granted and that they'll be able to extract something relevant in these 5 days' time, which will allow them to take more custody in the coming few days.
Nalini, if I could ask you to slightly elaborate for us and clarify, here is a Delhi liquor policy, an excise policy that's been scrapped by the government after questions were raised on its irregularity. It wasn't even implemented. So the CBI investigation is on the intent with which this policy was drafted. Considering it wasn't implemented, does that cut any slack for the Aam Aadmi Party in the court of law?
Well, Nabila, I stated this earlier also. If you go back and you see the press release that was issued by the CBI makes it very clear that what they are investigating are two things in this case. One, the drafting of this policy, and two, the implementation of this policy. So the drafting of the policy comes first. Now what they are essentially trying to pinpoint is as to whether or not this policy was drafted in a way so that it could benefit certain businessmen or certain companies that were indulging in liquor trade, liquor sale.